Video games have died long ago. Well, let me explain. Since the last few months, I have seen many people uploading posts in different forums, explaining that they no longer enjoy video games as they used to do before. And this assured me that I'm not the only one. We are on the same boat, who thinks that video games, mainly the high-budget AAA and the JRPG ones, have lost their charms with their newer releases. Like, I no longer feel excited with a new Assassin's Creed game. Mainly because the series started fading out after Assassin's Creed Revelations. See friends, you might be thinking that we all are getting old, and this is natural to feel, and so on and so forth. And, we used to have no responsibilities before, but now, we do. We now face the outside world every day, life is becoming stressful and all, etc. Well no! No! This is absolutely wrong. This is not the reason why most of us are losing the interest, the love, and the passion for video games. Yeah, it is true that we are getting old. We have more responsibilities than before, and we are grinding for hours and hours to meet our expenses, needs, and all. But, what we are forgetting is that video games are meant to provide us enjoyment and give us the fun and happiness that we deserve. Video games should not give you stress and anxiety. It is okay to lower the difficulty if you find the game too hard for you. Remember friends the time from our childhood, when we used to become happy and excited after getting a new toy? Many of us still feel joy today when we take those toys in our hands even after so many years. Most of us might be using them to decorate our work or gaming setups or rooms. And this is all because they are physical things, which no one, even the owner of the toy company, can take it away from you. You have full ownership on them. They are tangible items, you can take them in the palm of your hands, and remember your nostalgic memories related to them. You can always use your physical things and do whatever you want with it. You can either give them to your friends or other people, or open them to change and modify them according to your wish. And, that is at least, what I call the real ownership. When you are buying any item from a local store or e-commerce site, you are clicking on the Buy Now option, which means a particular unit of that product out of all the available stocks of the same product will be yours once you confirm the payment for that specific product. You can feel the joy of truly owning something at that time. But unfortunately, this is not the case for video games nowadays. If you go to Steam, PlayStation Store, or any other digital storefront, you can see that there's no Buy Now option. Instead, there's an Add to Cart option, which you can see when you visit the page of any game on Steam, or PS Store, or any other digital store. Now these storefronts already have mentioned that they're just granting you the license to play the games you paid for, and not selling those games to you. Even if you buy physical games in today's modern era, you are either provided with a digital product activation key inside the box, or the game disc requires you to connect to the store's servers to install the patches. Many times, you cannot even launch the game which you have bought, without downloading the patches. If you find a physical copy of any PC game, like this one, then even after getting the disc, you still need a Steam account, so that you can download the game from there. The game binds with your Steam account, and later you do not require that disc you got in the box. And for console users, when these console-making companies, after 15 or 20 years, decides to shut down their servers, those physical games becomes completely unplayable that requires day one or compulsory patches, and you can now no longer visit your own game unless you go for an unofficial route. And this is one of the biggest reasons why you are not able to enjoy video games today, as you did before. This drastic shift in the video game format is converting video games to games as a service, meaning that video games are no longer a product or a tangible thing. I'm seriously concerned about the future. I seriously doubt the approach and the direction where the video game industry is heading today. Taking reference to the most recent controversial events, where on one side, in an interview, Ubisoft's executive indirectly approached the idea of getting comfortable with not owning your video games, by opting more for video game subscription service, again, which he indicated as a primary future of gaming. On the other side, it is now exposed that Capcom has been adding Enigma DRM to their decade-old back catalog of Steam games since more than a year, to prevent modding to their games, and that is without your consent. Even, Google is also calling this a drama, nothing else. At this point, I think that it would have been better if they remained stuck with Denuvo only, or at least they must have avoided this unrecognized company to seek anti-DRM protections for their games. They might have blocked those inappropriate modded skins only, that would be better in my opinion. But blocking everyone from modding their single-player titles is totally out of my mind. And many times, you need an active internet connection even to play offline single-player only games that comes with this DRM protections. And if the store's online services gets down temporarily due to some reasons, or your ISP goes under their regular system maintenance, then good luck playing the rest of your game library. These AAA companies have more control over your games than you actually do. Again, you can just only play them, and you cannot modify or do something else with your games, since some game companies consider it as bad practices. Also, they have the administrative control to remove games, movies, TV shows, and music albums from your library, due to several licensing reasons, without asking or taking any consent from the end users. And 99% of the time, you won't get refunds if it happens. We already saw a recent incident that happened with the PlayStation users, as I mentioned in my previous video. This is not something ethical that these companies should commit. At least they should learn something from Google's refund policy. Now all these constantly remind us that video game ownership is almost death, or on the verge of extinction. With the increase in convenience, the ownership factor is falling down day by day, and it will vanish if we don't become aware now. See friends, if you buy something, whether it's a physical or digital item, doesn't matter, you fully have the right to use it however you want, but only if it's actually a product, and not any kind of service. Yes, my friends, any piece of video game, in today's time as a whole, is no longer considered a product. Rather, video games are now considered as a type of service offered to you by different game distributors, tied to some online services operated by these digital storefronts or distributors, like PSN Network, Xbox Live, etc. And when any top-level management person say, or do something like this, then it becomes more concerning than before. It emphasizes more on the fact that these companies don't care about game ownership at all. Yeah, I know, nothing is temporary. Physical games also has their own lifespan, which depends upon their constant wear and tear. I get it, but you can still at least back up your old physical games to separate storage devices, unless it doesn't require any compulsory update to play them. What these big giants are more focused on is primarily generating more money and maximizing profits only. There's no concern of preserving their older games among these giant companies. But thank God that there are people in the retro gaming community who are constantly trying to preserve as many games as they could through emulation. And to push these profits further, almost all the AAA giants are promoting their own video game subscription model, like Xbox Game Pass, Ubisoft Plus, PlayStation Plus, etc., because you cannot own video games. Look friends, I am not against video game subscription services at all. It is a great way to access a ton of games, with a rental of $10 to $20 monthly. You are saving many bucks on games, that's for sure. But unfortunately, you are not owning anything there. You are technically renting the games for an uncertain time period. And that's where the problem arises. Also, you can only play those games that are provided in the subscription catalog. You cannot help yourself seeing your favorite games getting out of the subscription service you opted for. Yes, new games are also added to these services at the same time. With the increase in reliance on these game subscription models, we are getting away far from actually owning the games that we love. In the upcoming 10 to 20 years, if cloud gaming and game subscription services becomes a primary source of video games in the future, then forget ownership. I will just seriously stop caring about video games totally and find some other hobbies to enjoy my life. I would rather replay my backlog of games instead of getting any subscription to play video games on rental basis. Since platforms like Netflix and other OTT services have completely taken over the entertainment industry, the era of CDs and DVDs came to an end. Even though these services are available to us 24/7, we still have these region locking and licensing issues that really frustrates me after paying for the service. And I don't want the fate of video games to end up being similar to the entertainment industry. We can play video games 1,000 times, in 1,000 different ways, and thereby, we get 1,000 types of different experiences and up to hundreds and even thousands of hours of content to many games. But this same cannot be done for TV shows and movies. But in the end, I can say with guarantee friends, that, at least in the upcoming 1 or 2 decades, we won't see these game subscriptions becoming the primary headline to access newer games, because it takes millions of dollars to develop and release a game in the market. And, at least in today's timeline, it is not possible to even recover the production cost required to make that game. But again, just like PC ecosystems, consoles are also getting disk drive less and digital only, and getting games digitally on any console also means you are renting them, but for an unknown period of time, or until the servers are operating in their life cycle period. So after all these discussions, now friends, It's the time to give you some solutions regarding how you can legally own any game in this 9th generation of video gaming. First, if you're a console gamer, then please try to buy physical copies whenever it is available and possible. Don't buy games digitally on consoles unless you have to, or it is not available physically, and I already told you the reason why. Secondly, if you are a PC gamer, then I would suggest you to buy games mostly from GOG. No, this is not a sponsored video from GOG. GOG doesn't have any kind of DRM implemented in their games, meaning that you can store the game files in a separate storage, and you can still access your games without your GOG account or the store launcher. This means that no storefront DRM, no online connectivity, no license things. And probably that's why GOG mentions the buy now option, apart from add to cart. You are truly owning a copy of the game if you are getting it from GOG. I would love to see Steam, Epic, and other storefronts doing the same thing as GOG. But yeah, if you want cloud save feature, or achievements, then only you need to launch the game from GOG with an active internet connection. But remember that not all the games supports them. And, seriously, if you really want to relax and have a stress-free time, then I would highly recommend you to play some indie games, like Stardew Valley, Bright Memory, A Plague Tale, and Dead Cells. You can even play some older generation titles, like Sly Cooper, Psychonauts, Titanfall, Crash Bandicoot, and all. Many modern-day single-player games comes with competitive and online elements implemented, which literally most of the time, ruins the overall single-player experience. And that's why I suggested you to play some older PC games, Xbox 360, PS3, and PS2 titles, or even the older Nintendo titles. And that's why I would love to purchase indie games at full price rather than getting a new AAA game on sale or at a discount. And due to all these constant changes that are against normal consumers' fate, video games are dying, and now at a faster pace. Let me know, friends, about your thoughts in the comments down below. And with that being said, thank you so much, friends, for watching our video. Wishing you all a great time ahead, and I will see you in this video or in the next one.